Good morning, everyone. How are you? For the past lessons we're doing sea level rise, and it based a lot of certain topics that we're going to talk about, flooding, erosion, and so forth. But my question to you today is this: when do we experience flood in the waves? Yes, sir, when?
During the rainy seasons.
During the rainy season. And could you specify when? Do you think that would be?
November.
June to November. As we know, as in on our news, it says June to November. We have what type of season? What occurring at that time? Glendale? Hurricane. And do you think you guys are prepared for a hurricane season? How much do you think are you prepared at your house for the hurricane season? Raise your hands. You think? Okay, good. My next question: how do you prepare for a hurricane? Yes, Erwin.
Usually we stock up on food supplies like canned foods.
Stock up on food supplies and so forth. Now, for the students living near the river bank, how do you work with that, with the erosion, the flooding? How does that affect you? Yes?
A lot of mud.
A lot of mud. So how do you go by, like how we're going from June to November, we have the rainy season. How do you work with that?
We have to wear rubber boots.
We wear rubber boots. Okay. Have you guys, anyone of you where you're living at the present moment, are you guys have any problem right now with the rain in your area?
The streets sometimes it start to get potholes and it takes very long to fix.
Okay,
them.
so it's affecting your area. Now we're gonna review sea level rise through a game. It's called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and it helps you with the terms you have went through already. And so now I will introduce the game and also our host. The game is quite simple. We start off where each group is given a name, and you know your names are based on the oceans we have. At the front we have Atlanta, we have Antarctic, we have Pacific and Arctic. Those are the oceans that we are using as for our games. The game is quite simple. We have our host is Edwin. As you can raise your hand so everybody can see you. Yes. We have our scorer, Erwin. And then what we have, most of you have a card in front of you that has A, B, C, and D. That would be your response. How the game goes is that each group starts with $100, not cash, $100 as a point, because it's cash for millionaire. And then what you're doing there, we're gonna have Edwin reading the question. There's 4 choices, and then from the, all you will do is lift the correct choice, which is either A, B, C, or D. When you correct, you gain points, which is in dollar amount. It goes up to different categories, which is where it's $1,000. Then you move into a different category, and it goes up from there to like 200, 2,000, and so forth. As you see, we have 100, 200, 300, then jumps to 500, and then $1,000. That's where we'll be able to start eliminating our groups. So you guys need to work together quickly to answer your response to the question that Ed will be asking. I'll be the person confirming the answers and so forth. On the game, there's a 50-50. The 50-50 is where you either have a choice of, I will tell you, one of the answer is correct and one is wrong. Okay, so I would say maybe, for example, maybe we give a question, I would say A and B is your choice. And you need to discuss with your group and get out either A or B. The telephone call, I'll be a telephone call person. You go ring ring and you call and ask for assistance. I will give you the best. I will not give you the answer, but I'll give you clues that will help you to choose your answer. When we do polling for everyone, that's where we'll ask the audience, which is yourself, and also the players too. Raise your hand, I will call common person A, B, C, or D, and then from there we could give a clue. All right, so are we ready to play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Now let's put a round of applause for Edwin. Come down. Let's begin. So let's begin. And our host is Edwin.
Okay, Atlantic group. First question for $100. All the groups for $100. First question. The region around the North Pole. The region around the North Pole. A, Pacific. B, Arctic. C, Antarctic. Or D, Atlantic. Wrong. No, I check who first. Group Arctic.
and Arctic. Next question.
The answer is B, Arctic. Next question for $200. The water cycle is also called the A, hydro-rain cycle, B, hydro-arctic cycle, C, hydrologic cycle, or D, hydro cycle.
All groups got
All
it. Very
groups
good.
got the 200.
200 points.
This next question is for $300. The process in which water vapor, a gas in the air, turns into liquid is A, transpiration, B, precipitation, C, evaporation, or D, condensation.
We have
The people at D.
Atlantic, Antarctic,
Antarctic.
and Arctic. Very good.
Next question for $500. What type of water is found underground in cracks and spaces in soil and sand and rock? A, groundwater, B, salt water, C, loam water, or D, rock water.
Correct. All groups
Correct.
got their 500 points.
A, groundwater. Next question. What type of flooding affects coastal areas by flooding when a hurricane or severe storm causes a surge of water? A, seawater flooding, B, runoff flooding, C, tidal flooding, or D, urban flooding.
Raise it high so you can see.
Correct?
We are correct. Now let's see how
Seawater
we move
flooding.
on to the next round. Atlantic. We have three groups moving on. We have Atlantic, Arctic, and Antarctic moving on. So the group Pacific, thank you for helping us along the way with the consolation prizes. So let's move on to see who will reach to 32,000 and move on. Are you ready to begin?
This next question is for $2,000 for the three groups that are still in. The wearing away of rock and soil materials from the Earth's surface. A, pollution, B, erosion, C, saturation, or D, evaporation. Correct?
Very good. All groups
B.
got it.
Next question for $4,000. State the two factors that cause erosion. A, natural animals, B, human and natural, C, human and animals, or D, natural and C. Antarctic and Atlantic.
Atlantic and Antarctic got it. Very good.
A period of 100 years. A, a millennium, B, decade, C, century, or D, annual.
Atlantic and Arctic.
Arctic,
Very good.
C, century. This next question is for $16,000. The level below which ground is saturated with water? A, saturated table, B, glacier table, C, ground table, or D, water table. Correct? D,
All the groups got
water
it. Very
table. $32,000. The quantity of motion of a moving body measured as a product of its mass and velocity. A, momentum, B, speed, C, motion, or D, move.
Good. Time.
The answer is A. No group got it.
Based on the totals we're seeing, we have Arctic moving on to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Let's give a round of applause for that group. So now we'll have second round up. We have is Atlantic. So you the two groups that will be going against each other to see who will be the millionaire. Atlantic and Arctic.
$64,000. A significant and lasting change in the statistical distribution of weather patterns over a period of time. A, water cycle, water change, B, climate change, C, land change, or D, pattern change. Yes, B, climate change.
Very good.
This next question is for $125,000. A very high intensity rainfall produced produced by tropical low pressure systems and commonly resulting in flash flooding? A. Torrential rainfall. B. Tropical rainfall. C. Infiltration rainfall. Or D. Intense rainfall.
Time.
A.
So they're
Torrential
correct.
rainfall.
Arctic is correct.
This next question is for $250,000. Make a person or area poor. A. Immede. B. Impel. C. Impoverish. D. Immune. Impoverish.
Correct. Both groups. Let me take away from them.
The basic physical and organizational structures and facilities needed for the operation of a society or enterprise. A. Inlet. B. Ingurgate. C. Imbibe. D. Infrastructure. Correct. D. Reason.
Now let's see who is going to be our millionaire. We're close, near.
Ingurgate.
Yes, one person wins. The group that is going to answer this question will be Arctic. If you get it correct, then you're going to be our millionaire. You could make a phone call or you can do a poll. It's your choice.
A long wall or embankment built to prevent flooding from the sea. A. Dikes. B. Stilts. C. Chains. Or D. Posts.
Which lifeline would you like to use? You answered? Okay. Go ahead. Sorry, they just went back down to $32,000. And our winner is Atlanta. Let's give a round of applause.
Weird.
The answer is dikes. So you see what the game that we did was that, yes, they were at the millionth question to answer, but they were unable to do so. So the group who was nearer to the question of the last question answered, they're the winning team. They got 30, they went back to 32,000. That's why we have different intervals. So in sea level rise, we have learned a lot that we have to be prepared for every event. And in our case, it's hurricane that we have. From June to November, we have hurricane. How we prepare ourselves is very important. If we are living in a flooded area, we need to move to a higher grounds and so forth. Now in your groups as how you are as trees, I want you guys to come up with one way how you prepare yourself for the hurricane season. In your groups of three, kindly come up with one way how you prepare yourself for the hurricane season. And then you will share. Choose a person who will give or state your response. About a minute we have. Time. Let's start with Arctic. Would you like to share, please?
Cutting down of trees near the house.
So you cut down trees in your areas. How much of you guys do that in your area that you live? Raise your hand, let's see. None? Okay. So you do that for your area. Very good. You now move on to Pacific.
Move to higher grounds.
You move to higher grounds. How much of you moved to higher grounds? I know you guys live in Belmopan, so you're already on the higher grounds. We from the city come to your area. Atlantic?
Pack canned foods.
Pack canned goods. How much of us pack canned goods? So what are you going to eat when you go to the shelter and you're out there? You cannot go outside and pick the stuff, right? Next, we have this group, Atlantic, Antarctic.
Moving to a hurricane shelter.
You move to a hurricane shelter. I know most of you guys are from Belmopan City. How much of you go to the shelter? You stay at home. So that means you have to secure your house properly. So remember, securing your area is very important. And we have the aspect of flooding that always affects us when we have the hurricane season. So thank you again for being so attentive, and I hope that you have learned something in sea level rise that will be able to help us to be more efficient and more conscious about our environment and so forth. Thank you.